How's it going, everyone? It's Natural here, and welcome to another video on the channel. And in this video specifically, we will be talking about and explaining what are wildcards in MotoGP and why they are so important for bike development for each manufacturer. So, what are wildcards in MotoGP? Wildcards in MotoGP is pretty much for test riders to help whatever manufacturer that they are in to improve the bike and make certain modifications that the current full-time riders can't really do during a Grand Prix weekend. That's sort of what the wildcard system is. And just like we discussed in our concessions video recently, if you haven't checked it, check it out, because it's really sort of important to understand concessions with the current wildcards in MotoGP right now, is each manufacturer will have a wildcard entries really. So under the current concession system, Ducati can't do any wildcards because they're in rank A, so their test rider, Michele Pirro, can't do a wildcard. While the other 4 manufacturers can do wildcards because they're not in the A rank tier. So Aprilia and KTM have 6 wildcards because they're in rank C, and Yamaha and Honda are in rank D, so they also get 6 as well. And usually how it goes is with the test riders that they have, so take KTM and Aprilia, who can do 6 wildcards and they're rank C. Their test riders, Paul Espargaro and Danny Pedrosa, would share which ones would do wildcards. It sort of depends on each rider's testing schedules and their schedules, and sort of depends on which rider wants to do as many wildcards as they can. Some of them can do all of them, some of them can share and do 3 each. It sort of really depends. Aprilia only have 1 test rider, which is Lorenzo Savadori, so he would do all the wildcards for them. While Honda and Yamaha have different test riders. Honda have 3 official factory test riders, while Yamaha have 2, but because Cal Crutchlow is currently injured at the minute, Dovizioso has been sort of brought in as a replacement really to do a lot of testing and development for Yamaha's bike. But they are restricted to doing, like I said, 6 wildcards, and they can't just do these 6 wildcards like 6 races during the season. So they can't do like the first 6 rounds and do all 6 wildcards. They have to spread out during the whole calendar really. So maybe, you know, it'll be usually around the European rounds really is when they do these wildcards. So probably KTM will do it at the Red Bull Ring, Aprilia will probably do it at Mugello, Yamaha and Honda, it's mainly, like I said, during the European rounds and maybe around their home tracks really, which is in Japan. And like I said, with the wildcard system, obviously Ducati can't do any, but Michele Pirro can still do, you know, Grand Prix races. He can still be part of the Grand Prix weekend really as a replacement rider. Michele Pirro, who was substituted end of last season to replace Fabio Di Giannantonio in the VR46 team, because Digi obviously had an injury, had to go and get surgery for it. So in the last few rounds and also at testing in Barcelona, he was substituted in to replace him. And that's sort of what a replacement rider is. So a test rider is not just for testing, it's not just to do wildcards, is also to come in as a substitute when certain riders get injured. So you could say test rider really is sort of like become probably one of the most important things in MotoGP now, because with limited testing in MotoGP, we're only having 3 tests and many other things like that. It's really important that the wild cards really get, you know, a lot of time on the bike and development, because with the current schedule as it is in MotoGP, 22 rounds during a whole campaign, testing is so limited during the season that the wildcard system is so important for manufacturers when it comes to developing the bikes to get them from where they are at the minute, some of them like Yamaha and Honda at the back of the grid, to being at the pointy end at the front, battling for wins, podiums and championships. So everyone, that's the wildcard system in MotoGP. It's not probably the most prestige and most glamorous, most important thing in MotoGP, but given the way MotoGP is now, with the amount of races you have to do and limited testing, it's become probably one of the most important things about the sport. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and also subscribe. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in another video. The Natural is out.